This is for the mechanism, and this is for the panel. Now this panel that I have here is 11 inches by 2 3/4. Normally I would probably make that 3 3/4, but since the numbers that I'm going to be using are actually going to be the 3 3/4, I want them to stand proud of this panel. So I've decided to make this a little narrower. So it still needs to be 11 inches, and we're going to score at 2 3/4 and at 5 1/2 and 8 1/4. Now if you don't have a scoreboard, what you could do is simply fold this in half, like so, and then fold up the other ends, like that, okay? You get the same effect. So, go ahead and finish that up. And then what you have is something that looks like an M, okay? This is the mechanism. For this, we have a piece that is 8 by 3 1/2, and we're going to score it at 4 inches. Okay, and I'm also going to make a little tick mark here at 2 1/4, because this is where I'm going to make my diagonal lines, and over here at 5 3/4. Okay, so we can turn it over and repeat those. So 2 1/4 and 5 3/4. Then turning it to the short side, to the 3 1/2 inch, we're going to go right down the middle at 1 3/4. Okay, and that's our scoring done for those. The mechanism, you see here, we've got that little tick mark there and there. So what I'm going to do is find a ruler on here, and we're just going to make a line between those two. Okay, what I'm going to do is use my stylus here on my bone folder and just mark along that. I'll show you another way you can do it as well if you don't even have something like this. So, and then we're going to repeat it on this side. Here's our little tick mark, and our other tick mark is there. And again, score along that. Okay. Then what we're going to do is fold along those score marks. So what you're doing essentially is matching this score line with this one. Don't know if you'll be able to see that, but this score line with this one, if you align those, you'll know you have the correct angle. Okay, and turn it and do this side as well. So we're going to go along that diagonal there that we made. Let's see if we can see that. Again, match up those score lines, and what you can do is just wiggle it about if it doesn't want to match up. There, have it. Okay. So there are your score lines, here and here, and then in the middle and across the center. So now I'm going to fold that back up. And if you just take your finger, poke it there, you'll see these want to just naturally come forward. So if you just squeeze on these ends here, this will start to fold. See here, got this little open bit here, and it will start to fold into a little house. And that's your mechanism. What you can do is to chain this paper. You can go along and burnish it on both sides. And we have our little mechanism. Change of mind. And I'm going to go back to the 3 3/4 for my panel. So 11 by 3 3/4. Because this is 3.5, and I really want to be sure this is covered, and I don't want to mess with, cutting it down. So I think I can make this work. So again, this needs to be 2 3/4, 5.5, and 8 1/4. All right. Again, going to fold and burnish these. Actually, we want this one in this way, and these to come back on themselves like so. There we are. We'll do that on this side. I'm just going to push it up against that edge of the scoreboard to make sure it stays even. So there we are. Right. Now, before I assemble this, I want to be sure I decorate the panel and also the inside of the card. And I'll probably go ahead and do the outside as well before I put anything together. So. Might have missed filming putting those down, but you get the idea. 2021 in the center, and these all measure 3 3/4 in length as well. Okay, next, for my card base, I'm going to put a black mat on, and as you can see, I've essentially taken the center out of it. It helps to reduce on the bulk and also saves me on cardstock, because I can use that centerpiece for other projects. So this measures 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. So it gives us just a nice little border all around. And then, of course, we're going to have this covered as well. So now for the inside pieces, I have 2 sheets that are 5 3/4 inch square, which I'm going to put here at the top and then at the bottom. fairly simple, but yet I think rather elegant as well. So there we have the front of our card. That's the mechanism now. And pour our little house out here, along with our panel with 2021 on it. And with this, it's going to go in here like so, up to that score line there, central there. And that will get glued down to the bottom and to this top here. But the mechanism itself will only get glued to this and this panel here. So to determine that, the best thing to do is take this and just going to turn it there, and I'm going to measure up about 1 1/4 inches because I don't want to go any further than that with my glue. Okay, so just make a little mark there and do that here as well. Okay, so we know that we're not going to go any further than that line there. Then, keeping it, turn it over, and now you're going to work on this one again, and come up 1 1/4 inches, about so, and again, because you don't want it to go into this area here, on that side or on that side, otherwise it'll get caught on the card, so you don't want that. You just need this little bit here. Take the panel and in that M shape here, with this open end pointing towards you, I'll just move that out of the way. We're going to apply our glue here and here. You could use double-sided tape, and then you could just put this down, you know, one side at a time. But I'm going to use the liquid glue and put that on these two sections, again, not going past that line which I drew before. Okay, got this all glued down, and then this side. Okay, and again taking this with the open end towards you, and we're going to take this and lift this little bit up first, and take this and put it up to that score line, and then try to get as much as possible these ends an even overhang thereabouts. Okay, and this will actually glue both sides down at once. So I'm just going to take a bone folder, give that a chance to dry, and then you're going to see how the mechanism actually will work. And there is how it will pop open. Okay, just like that. The next thing to do is to take the entire thing and place it central onto the card as much as you can. Try to get it even.